Hi, my name is Chris Ryan, and in this video we're going to give you a three-stage process to dealing with a really thick lie in the rough once you've missed the fairway. So, I've missed the fairway to the left, and that is a pretty thick lie that I've got in the rough. So for me to play this successfully and get a decent result, there's three things that I really need to do. The first thing I need to do is I need to tweak or change my technique to deal with that situation a little bit better. Number two is I really need to appreciate or understand how that lie and how the changes in my technique will affect the outcoming shot. So the ball flight, maybe the spin, the distance, etc, etc. And the third thing I need to do is I need to sort of change maybe the shot choice that I have. So maybe where I'm aiming. So my expectations are going to be a little bit different. And if we can employ those three stages, those three steps, we're going to find that when you're faced with this situation, you can deal with it a little bit better. So let's first of all talk about the tweaks or the change that we want to make in either setup or technique. As you can see, it's a pretty poor lie. There's a lot of grass around that golf ball. And today, being sort of winter, there's a little bit of moisture in the grass as well. So it's quite a thick, heavy lie. I really want to try and steepen my approach to the golf ball. That would mean that my golf club is approaching a little bit more downward. So we would hit that golf ball with a slightly more descending blow. The reason for that is that's going to eliminate, or it's going to reduce the amount of debris that I get between the club and the ball. If you can imagine I had a very, very shallow approach, I would probably enter the long grass here. I've then got to go through a good 12 inches of this grass. By the time my club gets to the ball, it's reduced a hell of a lot in its speed, and I'm not going to get the desired distance. So many of you out there who do struggle from the rough will often find that you can't achieve the distance that you would like to. That can often be related to the approach angle being too shallow. So how do we steepen the approach angle? Well, if I was to take my normal starting position, I've got that ball just forward of centre, I would actually move my sternum and the handle forward of the golf ball. Now, the easiest way to do that is actually just to walk forward slightly. So if I just support the grip end and I just shuffle forward by just a few inches. So you can see I've moved my sternum forward. I've also taken the handle forwards. What that's done is actually set that golf ball slightly more back in my stance, just inside my trail heel. And it's also caused a little bit more forward lean of the handle. Straight away, that little tweak will increase the amount that the club is travelling down at impact. So we've already helped ourselves a little bit there. We may also want to just set a tiny bit more weight onto our lead side. Not a huge amount, maybe 60% onto that lead side. Again, that's going to help steepen that approach slightly. The final thing I might want to do is I might want to feel like in my backswing, I set my wrists a little quicker. It's going to feel like I'm picking the golf club a little bit more upward, and it's going to give me the feeling that I can send the golf club a little bit more downwards towards the ground. I have to ensure that when I'm playing this shot, I'm not afraid to make some real contact with that ground. This is absolutely fine as long as we hit the ball and then the ground. Many golfers don't like that sensation of the club travelling downwards, and then they react to that by standing up, by moving back. We have to be fully committed to delivering this golf club into that ground, making sure we strike the ball first, and appreciating that we're going to take a reasonable sized divot. Still feel like you continue through. I'm trying to get to a full follow through. Depending on the length of the grass and the size of the divot, you may well find that your follow through is much shorter. That's absolutely fine, but we're not trying to do that. So there's a few little tweaks in the technique. That's going to help us deal with that situation a little bit better, get less grass between the club and the ball, and achieve a better result. We have to appreciate that's going to change the ball flight. I'm not going to be able to achieve the distance because there's a lot of grass between the club and the ball. I'm not going to be able to achieve the height because I'm leaning the handle forwards. I'm attacking the ball more steeply. I'm reducing the dynamic loft on the golf club. So we've got a golf ball which is going to come out with less speed. It's going to come out with less height, and it's also going to come out with less spin. We have to appreciate that. We have to take that into account. So when I'm picking my shot, I'm choosing my shot, I'm visualizing my shot. I can't visualize that as I would for this golf club from the middle of the fairway. I have to appreciate that the ball flight is going to be lower, shorter, with less spin. Once I know that, I can then choose the shot. So I may choose then to apply it away from the flag, more to the middle of the green. I may well try and land the ball short of the hole and have realised it's going to roll back to that flag. So as I said at the start, it's a three-stage process. One, changing the setup and the technique to deal with that situation better. 2, appreciating what that will do to the ball flight. And then 3, choosing the correct shot based on those things that's going to help you from this situation. So for me, the flag is a little bit on the left-hand side of the green here. Middle of the fairway, I might choose to go at that flag, but from this situation, I'm going to try and go right of it into the middle of the green, and I would accept 2 putting and moving on to the next hole. So putting those setup things in place, a little bit quicker wrist set in the backswing. Let's see if we can get that ball on the green. Okay, came out a little bit right of where I was aiming, but it's actually ended up on the putting surface, and from that situation, I wouldn't be unhappy with that. At least I'm putting, I've got a chance at making that, but hopefully I shouldn't take more than 3. You saw a pretty sizable divot. You aren't going to get as much control, so it's more difficult to create any curve. So if you are thinking about shaping this shot, I would look at trying to hit just a basic stock shot. Very, very difficult with that grass there to create any kind of curve on that golf ball. So, thick rough, try and avoid it. Obviously, that's rule number 1, but if you do find yourself in a tricky situation, employ that 3-stage process: technique, resulting shot, and then your shot choice based on that information. Hopefully you're going to deal with that situation a little bit better, and it's going to help you lower those scores. Thank you very much for watching. All the usual stuff, as always, is down below. Comments box down there. There's a like button as well, and there's also a link to subscribe to my channel for videos each and every week. Would love to have you a subscriber. Thank you very much for watching. We'll see you again soon.